My name is Bree, and I'm a death and spiritual doula. This video stems from my shorts, Things People Have Asked Me as a Death Doula series. And it will be a long format because there are so many incredible, diverse options available for honoring loved ones at the end of life. And these include everything from traditional burials to environmentally friendly alternatives and innovative methods that celebrate life uniquely. I'll go over the cost, the processes, and considerations of each option to help you make informed choices for both yourself and your loved ones. Choosing an end of life plan can be deeply personal, so I hope you just glean a lot from this. And I do want to let you know that my research has mostly been in the US, as well as more specifically in Colorado, which is where I am at and work locally. Although I do provide these services around the world. So if you have any questions about your options, just shoot me a message and I would love to help you figure it out. Let's get started. In Colorado, the average funeral costs about $7,000 as of 2023. The average cremation is a little less expensive at $5,700. Even our affordable burial options from your traditional funeral and cremation homes are still going to be around $3,600. And you can do a la carte options, which are going to be a rental casket for $1,000, metal caskets for $2,500, regular urns are going to be around $250. And your alternative urns typically start at $150. But those aren't really why we're here, are we? Let's get into the fun stuff. So, what are some of our alternatives to burial and cremations? I'm going to start with cremation. There is a open air cremation option, and that means if you would like to be cremated in the open air on a pyre, usually you're brought down on a stretcher, you have a burial shroud, and the ceremony is usually performed while the cremation is happening. There's only one legal open air cremation service in the US, and that is in Crestone, Colorado. If you're interested, it is called the Crestone End of Life Project, and options start as little as $300. There are other options that you could add on. I think the most I saw was about $800. So this is not only a unique alternative, but it's a relatively low cost option to normal cremation services. What if cremation just really isn't up your alley, but neither is traditional burial? Well, we can do alkaline hydrolysis. It's also known as aquamation and white flame cremation. And this is the use of cremating without fire or chimneys. It actually just uses water and pressure and heat to liquefy soft tissues, which then, after they pulverize the bone to turn it into ash, that then is turned to the family. There are two places that I'm familiar with in Colorado, and that is Alkaline Hydrolysis of Colorado, as well as the Natural Funeral. Why choose alkaline hydrolysis? Well, the Natural Funeral starts at $2,000 for the service. It does have options that expand up to $10,000. Alkaline Hydrolysis of Colorado starts about $3,400 as of 2023. And water cremation uses about a tenth of the energy of traditional cremation and does not release any harmful emissions into the atmosphere. Therefore, this option is what I would consider a green alternative to our traditional burials and cremation options. Another option that has come about and is legal, at least in Colorado and a few other states in the US, is human composting. Human composting saves 1 metric ton of carbon per body, and it turns all remains into soil. Once the reduction process is complete, about a cubic soil of yard remains. That is then returned to the family to donate to whatever they see or spread, similar to ashes. I love to recommend a memorial garden. This can be used in a garden or on a farm as long as the plants grown from that are not for human consumption. Huge importance. Please do not use your human composted loved one as a source to grow your food. That is that is a caveat. And this is provided also by the Natural Funeral through their chrysalis service, and it's about $5,000 to $7,000. Recompose also provides the service, and I believe they have a service in Washington or Oregon and possibly now Colorado. They may have expanded since as well. Another cool option, which I would also consider a green alternative, is not actually legal in the US as of yet. It is probably still going through lots of testing and legalities elsewhere in the world, and maybe even here by now. Promession starts at about $2,500, and it is freeze drying a body and then shaking it to produce an ash-like material. A option that does not involve ashes or cremation of any sort is going to be a living coffin. And this is going to be another green alternative. And it was first I found by the burial shroud, the living burial shroud. And it's a designer mushroom that actually helps with the decomposition of bodies. And now they also have these living coffins made from the same type of mushroom that really help the decomposition process reduce to, I think, less than 2 weeks. So, really cool green alternative. And those I will recommend again later when we get to some other burial options. Let's talk about some other cheap cremation options outside of your traditional crematoriums. The cheapest cremations in Colorado are going to be your Colorado cremation services that are less than a grand. The company called After, which is about $900. And there's also burial assistance in Colorado. And this is going to be if you are typically on any kind of government assistance already, it's a great option. So, some other burial alternatives are donating your body to science. At Science Care, cost $0, and they the donors pay the way for medical communities to help future generations live longer, healthier lives. Science Care's body's donation process includes a no-cost cremation and is outlined on their website. And their goal is to always honor and maximize the gift of each donation. A caveat to this particular company is the donors must be free of any infectious diseases such as HIV, AIDS, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, a disease that I cannot pronounce. It's Creutzfeldt Jacob disease, possibly. Please don't come after me if I got that wrong. And the body weight of the donor must be less than 250 pounds. Also, if there has been a violent death, suicide, or vital organs have been removed for transplant purposes, the body will not be accepted. That's pretty specific to Science Care. You can also contact a medical facility of your choosing and ask about if they have any donation or donor processes that you can be involved in. Also, you can always reach out to me and I can help you through that process. A low cost and green option which is legal in most of the states in the United States, is a backyard burial. The really legal requirements is just check with your zoning board or planning commission, because there are rules to how far away somebody must be from water, utilities, roads, and buildings. The states that it's not legal, it's mostly due to space constrictions. So a lot more on the East Coast. A lot of those states just don't have room because it needs to be so far away from all those structures. It's also really important to consider if the property will stay within the family, if it'll lower the property value. There are possibly, if you bury a loved one on your property, some people believe it then turns into a cemetery. There's more research and more legalities into that and where that is legal. But how to do it, other than calling your planning commission, zoning board to see how far away from different structures you need to be. Um, you also need to make sure, no matter what the cause of death or where it happened, you need to have a death certificate within 5 days of that person's passing, and not get in trouble for that. You also should bury this body between 18 to 30 inches to speed up decomposition, and to have the smell barrier removed, or the smell barrier to protect from scavengers. And this is specifically for legal death of your loved ones. So please do not use this as a means for anything not covered in my death and spiritual doulaing. This is very specific to how to utilize your own body, or that of your loved ones. This is also where you can utilize cielo. Probably pronounced that very wrong. Ceoio, and it's the infinity mushroom shroud for burial, or the living coffin, and that can also help speed up decomposition. Another really fun free option is burial at sea, specifically to the US coast. The EPA has issued a general permit under the Marine Protection Research and Sanctuaries Act, it's MPRSA, to authorize the burial of human remains at sea. Once again, other things included: legal death, obtain a death certificate within 5 days, and then you are covered. It permits and authorizes transportation and burial at sea of both non-cremated and cremated human remains in ocean waters, but there are specified conditions. Please go to their website, and that's just going to be epa.gov, and more specifically, ocean dumping and burial at sea, to learn way more about the permit and the hows tos and the how nots. It must be 3 nautical miles from shore, and other requirements can be found at their website. There are no fees, no permits needed, as long as you follow all of the instructions and regulations. Some other options that I just really find exciting as options: if you want to have a burial at sea, but the whole just throwing somebody overboard doesn't sound quite up your alley, you can make a home for homeless fishes through Eternal Reefs. And that is a nonprofit, environmentally safe cast concrete that is placed on the ocean floor as a permanent memorial of life well lived. It's off of the coast of many parts of the US. I think their home base is in Florida, but you can request different places, and they have all sorts of options. The lowest option starts at $4,500, and then it goes up depending how many things you want involved. And you can have pets and a person in the same little reef. I mean, their options are very, broad and, customizable. There's also biodegradable urns, and it's the Bios urn specifically from urnabios.com is made with two separate capsules, and the urn is designed to contain the seed or seedling of your choice, which will grow into a tree as a way to remember a person. And the urn completely is 100% biodegradable. And their motto is turning cemeteries into forests. And I think that that is so beautiful. How awesome would it be to just go walk and in front of all these trees that came from somebody? Attorney trees is another one. It lets you choose your own plant and either start it from seed or a seedling or a sapling. And it can be from your local plant nursery with a biodegradable urn. And many of these also have different zonings to help you plant the best. There are also indoor ones that you can either transport with you if you move around a lot. You can have internally. Not all of them are trees, which are huge. Some of them are plants. The living urn is another option. They usually are already about 2 to 4 feet trees, and they arrive with biodegradable urns, bamboo packaging that you can use to plant a tree. And that really has where your best survival outcome zoning comes in. And then one is Capsula Mundi, and it is not available from the last time I looked into it. Their mission is to be able to encapsulate a whole body one day and turn that into a tree. Right now, it says their urns are about $370, while the other ones I mentioned are going to range anywhere from $90 to about $140. Now, if you have gone with cremation, whether it's traditional or one of the other options I mentioned, there are some really cool things you can do with those cremation ashes. So, keepsakes. Life Gem is going to be a great company for memorial diamonds. And they can make it out of hair, ashes, and they can be made into one or several. They have a whole range of different gems and diamonds, and that process is all on their website, lifegem.com, and their options start at $2,000. I think the most expensive one I saw was over $24,000. So if that's your option, you want to wear a loved one, you can check them out. I've also met someone locally in Colorado who also makes memorial jewelry out of hair, cremation remains, breast milk, and I think those are her options. If you would like to know who she is, send me a message and I'll get you her info. There's also a plant based one that is just going to be a bio urn light. It's not necessarily biodegradable, but it is really one of those ones that you can keep indoors. You can transport it, and they currently have 5 colors to choose from. You can keep it in home or natural space. Living Urn also has options for indoor, and I personally prefer them. They're more my style than the Bio Urn Light. They have options from ceramic, wood, and bamboo, and they're also for indoor plants. Now, if you've always dreamt of space and the stars, do you know there's an option to be sent there? With Celestius, an option based out of Texas, it provides a low environmental impact option with no orbital debris, 4 separate packages for you to choose from, and you can track the mission. Reorbit is designed for remains to burn up upon re-entry, but I believe the other options just send you either around and around or further out into space. Those options start at $3,000 and I believe go up to about $15,000. So you can have your remains shot into space. I have reached out to the next couple companies, and They haven't responded in a while, so I'm not sure if they're still active, but there may be other companies that have come up to replace them. Mezzoloft was a pretty cool, based out of Kentucky. Remains get launched into a balloon where a robot actually releases ashes at about 80,000 feet with a live stream of the event. Um, those options started at around $8,000. And then Starlight has options starting at $1,500 to $7,500. And it's another space memorial experience that helps family members celebrate loves in a unique, meaningful, and inspiring way. I haven't heard from many of these companies in a while, so you might just have to look up how you can get your remains to space. There are, I'm sure, more companies that have popped up. Also, you can always reach out to your own death doula, myself, to help you with that research. For the music lovers, did you know that cremations can be put into an album, a record album? So why not keep that life spinning for eternity? You could actually record a personal message, a last will and testament, your own soundtrack, or just hear silence to hear your pop and crackles for a minimalistic approach. And finally, does this, it's in Europe. I believe they do ship back to the US though. It's about 1 to 3,000 euro. Really cool option for those music and record lovers. Opal cremation is going to be for those who want to go out with a bang. Cremation fireworks are created by taking a small amount of the cremated ashes, approximately 3 tablespoons, and loading them into firework shells that's incorporated into a short firework display. Pretty cool. Options that are not available in the US but are available outside, or hopefully will be available outside, is one is the Tokyo Buddha Temple. And this one is absolutely beautiful. If I ever make it to Tokyo, I want to try to see this one day. Thousands of LED Buddha, little Buddhas guard the ashes of cremated remains in this one of kind temple. It is a temple. It is beautiful. Look it up. It's just absolutely stunning. And then, of course, the Mundi Capsella project. It's really a cultural and broad-based project which envisions a different approach to the way we think about death. It's an egg-shaped pod, an ancient and perfect form made of biodegradable materials where our departed loved ones are placed for burial. Last I looked it up, it is. I keep looking up. I've been looking this thing up for probably 10 or 15 years before I even became a doula. I'm just absolutely captivated by it, and I would love to see it come to fruition. They do have other things they sell now, so hopefully that's helping with the funding to make this thing possible. Outside of that, those are my favorite options. We've got low cost, green alternatives, traditional, and just keepsake fun stuff. So if you have any questions, leave a comment, send me a message, find me on my TikTok where my shorts are. They're also posted on this YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next one. If you have any requests for future videos, short form, long form, just let me know. I love to create, I love to educate, and I love to be here with you all.